So the lesson we're going to look at for this section, the lesson we're going to look at for this week is a special pattern we can form using polygons of repeated sizes and shapes to cover a plane, which is what we call a tessellation, where a tessellation is, in some sense, a very specific geometrical design of a puzzle. You could even think of it in terms of things like tangrams, where the main thing we have here is that our shapes form closed figures in the plane. That is, we don't have any gaps and we don't have any overlapping spaces, which means that at a point where shapes meet, at a vertex, we must have the full 360 degrees covered and no more. As a result, that results in certain restrictions that we can see with what sort of shapes we can use and how we can use them. For example, thinking back to our pentagons from the last video, we saw that the sum of interior angles for a pentagon is going to end up being a total value of 540 degrees. And as a result, if we took something like a regular pentagon, we would want to have that each of the angles is 108 degrees, because 540, the total, divided by the number of angles, we need them all to be the same, would be 108. And the problem there is that if we tried to meet up the pentagons to form a tessellation just of regular pentagons, well, we could take 3 of them, get 3 108s there, that would get us up to 324, but then we'd need an overlap, or we'd be left with that gap there of 36 degrees, and you can't fit another regular pentagon into there. You need to add something else, you need to add some other parts, you need to make some adjustments there, maybe throw a triangle in or something. Get creative, but with just regular pentagons, well, we wouldn't be able to make it work. So this is the sort of thing that we can sometimes think about when we're dealing with problems of tessellations, is seeing what sort of regular shapes we could use to make our pieces in here fit, to make our parts fit together in ways that we want them to, using the angles that we have to make that full 360. And that's about all we have, like I said, for this week. So next week we're going to be moving on further into Chapter 10, working with some further designs in geometry, things like areas, things like what we do with circles, and a whole host of other parts that we'll be getting as we see our shapes going through this chapter. See you in there.